Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. Make something, usually for a specific function. Shape a figure. A concrete representation of an otherwise nebulous concept. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. He could barely make out their shapes. The state of good health, especially in the phrases in condition, or in shape, or out of condition, or out of shape. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. Geometry is the mathematical science of shape. The supreme headquarters that advises NATO on military matters and oversees all aspects of the Allied Command Europe. Give shape or form to. Shape the dough. The act of throwing a fishing line out over the water by means of a rod and reel. The visual appearance of something or someone. The delicate cast of his features. Formulate in a particular style or language. She cast her request in very polite language. The actors in a play. A violent throw. Container into which liquid is poured to create a given shape when it hardens. The act of throwing dice. Form by pouring, e.g., wax or hot metal, into a cast or mold. Cast a bronze sculpture. Move about aimlessly or without any destination, often in search of food or employment. Put or send forth. Cast a spell. Get rid of. Object formed by a mold. Bandage consisting of a firm covering, often made of plaster of Paris, that immobilizes broken bones while they heal. Throw forcefully. The distinctive form in which a thing is made. Pottery of this cast was found throughout the region. Eject the contents of the stomach through the mouth. Choose at random. Cast lots. Assign the roles of a movie or a play to actors. Who cast this beautiful movie? Deposit. Cast a vote. Select to play, sing, or dance a part in a play, movie, musical, opera, or ballet. He cast a young woman in the role of Desdemona. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture is a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry, a distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. A customary way of operation or behavior. They changed their dietary pattern. A perceptual structure. A visual pattern must include not only objects but the spaces between them. Something intended as a guide for making something else. A pattern for a skirt. A decorative or artistic work. The path that is prescribed for an airplane that is preparing to land at an airport. The traffic patterns around O'Hare are very crowded. Something regarded as a normative example. Graphical representation, in polar or Cartesian coordinates, of the spatial distribution of radiation from an antenna as a function of angle. Plan or create according to a model or models. A model considered worthy of imitation. The American Constitution has provided a pattern for many republics. Form a pattern. These sentences pattern like the ones we studied before. Make something, usually for a specific function. Come up with an idea, plan, explanation, theory, or principle, after a mental effort. Make a copy of with the intent to deceive. She forged a green card. A workplace where metal is worked by heating and hammering. Make out of components, often in an improvising manner. Move or act with a sudden increase in speed or energy. Create by hammering. Forge a pair of tongues. Furnace consisting of a special hearth where metal is heated before shaping. Move ahead steadily. He forged ahead. A distinctive nature, character, or type. A leader in the mold of her predecessors. A dish or dessert that is formed in or on a mold. A lobster mold. A fungus that produces a superficial growth on various kinds of damp or decaying organic matter. Make something, usually for a specific function. She molded the rice balls carefully. Container into which liquid is poured to create a given shape when it hardens. Sculpture produced by molding. The process of becoming mildewed. Form by pouring, e.g., wax or hot metal, into a cast or mold. Form in clay, wax, etc. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Mold public opinion. The distinctive form in which a thing is made. Become moldy. Spoil due to humidity. The furniture molded in the old house. Loose soil rich in organic matter. Fit tightly, follow the contours of. The dress molds her beautiful figure. A distinctive nature, character, or type. A dish or dessert that is formed in or on a mold. A fungus that produces a superficial growth on various kinds of damp or decaying organic matter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Container into which liquid is poured to create a given shape when it hardens. Sculpture produced by molding. The process of becoming mildewed. Form by pouring, e.g., wax or hot metal, into a cast or mold. Form in clay, wax, etc. The distinctive form in which a thing is made. Loose soil rich in organic matter. Make uniform. Work the clay until it is soft. Perform as expected when applied. This old radio doesn't work anymore. Be employed. Is your husband working again? Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. Mastering a second language requires a lot of work. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. I cannot work a miracle. The occupation for which you are paid. A lot of people are out of work. Cause to work. He is working his servants hard. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. This unpleasant situation isn't going to work itself out. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. It is not regarded as one of his more memorable works. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. The voting process doesn't work as well as people thought. Use or manipulate to one's advantage. She knows how to work the system. Proceed along a path. Work one's way through the crowd. Prepare for crops. Shape, form, or improve a material. Work stone into tools. A place where work is done. He arrived at work early today. Cause to undergo fermentation. The vintner worked the wine in big oak vats. The total output of a writer or artist, or a substantial part of it. Picasso's work can be divided into periods. Give a workout to. My personal trainer works me hard. Go sour or spoil. The wine worked. Activity directed toward making or doing something. She checked several points needing further work. Arrive at a certain condition through repeated motion. The stitches of the hem worked loose after she wore the skirt many times. Behave in a certain way when handled. This dough does not work easily. Cause to operate or function. This pilot works the controls. Exert oneself by doing mental or physical work for a purpose or out of necessity. I will work hard to improve my grades. Gratify and charm, usually in order to influence. The political candidate worked the crowds. Move in an agitated manner. His fingers worked with tension. Move into or onto. Work the raisins into the dough. Operate in a certain place, area, or specialty. She works the nightclubs. Operate in or through. Physics. A manifestation of energy. The transfer of energy from one physical system to another expressed as the product of a force and the distance through which it moves a body in the direction of that force. Work equals force times distance. Proceed towards a goal or along a path or through an activity. Work your way through every problem or task. Provoke or excite. The rock musician worked the crowd of young girls into a frenzy. A new personification of a familiar idea. The embodiment of hope. A concrete representation of an otherwise nebulous concept. A circle was the embodiment of his concept of life. Giving concrete form to an abstract concept. An arrangement of parts or elements. The outcome depends on the configuration of influences at the time. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Acting according to certain accepted standards. A symmetrical arrangement of the parts of a thing. A line drawn on a map connecting points of equal height. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. A feature, or the order or arrangement of features, of anything having a complex structure. The contours of the melody. Form the contours of. The procedure that is varied in order to estimate a variable's effect by comparison with a control condition. Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Specify as a condition or requirement in a contract or agreement. Make an express demand or provision in an agreement. The state of good health, especially in the phrases in condition, or in shape, or out of condition, or out of shape. A state at a particular time. A condition, or state, of disrepair. Usually plural, a statement of what is required as part of an agreement. The contract set out the conditions of the lease. An assumption on which rests the validity or effect of something else. Information that should be kept in mind when making a decision. A mode of being or form of existence of a person or thing. The human condition. An illness, disease, or other medical problem. A heart condition. Apply conditioner to in order to make smooth and shiny. I condition my hair after washing it. Establish a conditioned response. Put into a better state. He conditions old cars. Decide upon or fix definitely. Reach, make, or come to a decision about something. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Experience often determines ability. Fix conclusively or authoritatively. Settle conclusively. Come to terms. Fix in scope. Fix the boundaries of. The tree determines the border of the property. Induce into action by using one's charm. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Shape or influence. Give direction to. A cognitive factor that tends to have an effect on what you do. Her wishes had a great influence on his thinking. A power to affect persons or events, especially power based on prestige, etc. Used her parents' influence to get the job. Causing something without any direct or apparent effort. One having power to influence another. She was the most important influence in my life. The effect of one thing, or person, on another. The influence of mechanical action. Restrain the emission of sound, fluid, etc. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Bring into conformity with rules or principles or usage. Impose regulations. We cannot regulate the way people dress. Fix or adjust the time, amount, degree, or rate of. Regulate the temperature. The branch of morphology that deals with the structure of animals. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A detailed analysis. He studied the anatomy of crimes. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leonardo studied the human body. Make by combining materials and parts. Build or establish something abstract. Build a reputation. Constitution of the human body. Bolster or strengthen. Build up confidence. Form or accumulate steadily. Pressure is building up at the Indian-Pakistani border. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Be engaged in building. These architects build in interesting and new styles. Develop and grow. Suspense was building right from the beginning of the opera. Found or ground. Build a defense on nothing but the accused person's reputation. Give form to, according to a plan. Build a modern nation. Improve the cleansing action of. Build detergents. Order, supervise, or finance the construction of. The government is building new schools in this state. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A metal mounting for the circuit components of an electronic device. The skeleton of a motor vehicle consisting of a steel frame supported on springs that holds the body and motor. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. A soft moist part of a fruit. Remove adhering flesh from hides when preparing leather manufacture. The soft tissue of the body of a vertebrate, mainly muscle tissue and fat. A system of assumptions and standards that sanction behavior and give it meaning. Formulate in a particular style or language. Make up plans or basic details for. Frame a policy. Construct by fitting or uniting parts together. Baseball. One of 9 divisions of play during which each team has a turn at bat. The hard structure, bones and cartilages, that provides a frame for the body of an animal. Take or catch as if in a snare or trap. The innocent man was framed by the police. Enclose in or as if in a frame. Frame a picture. A framework that supports and protects a picture or a mirror. The frame enhances but is not itself the subject of attention. The internal supporting structure that gives an artifact its shape. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A structure supporting or containing something. An application that divides the user's display into 2 or more windows that can be scrolled independently. A single drawing in a comic strip. A single one of a series of still transparent pictures forming a cinema, television or video film. Enclose in a frame, as of a picture. One of the 10 divisions into which bowling is divided. The framework for a pair of eyeglasses. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leonardo studied the human body. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Constitution of the human body. Alternative names for the body of a human being. He has a strong physique. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leafless East Indian vine. Its sour milky juice formerly used to make an intoxicating drink. Personification of a sacred intoxicating drink used in Vedic ritual. The supreme headquarters that advises NATO on military matters and oversees all aspects of the Allied Command Europe. Outward or visible aspect of a person or thing. Pretending that something is the case in order to make a good impression. They try to keep up appearances. Formal attendance, in court or at a hearing, of a party in an action. Outward or visible aspect of a person or thing. A mental representation. I tried to describe his appearance to the police. The act of appearing in public view. The rookie made a brief appearance in the first period. The event of coming into sight.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.